So you like the balance between being a redwood and Icarus, right? So that's like, so I think it's really helpful because I go into redwood, tree mode. Let me just go into survival and just make sure that I cover all my bases, fucking everything, right? But then after you realize, hey, actually it's not so bad. Because number one, competition is good for you because it helps you make it better. Or they're really good and you learn something and coexist, right? And then the loop happens again, right? And that happens every month. You know? So I just go into this like crazy
into a few weeks of paranoia every month.
So
3 days of clear your mind. I'm thinking about builders who are Web3 builders. You're building a business, you're building a community, so it's a lot, right? And you have your plans, next product, next feature, whatever. And then there is something completely new from a competitor. Right? In that case, you say, I'm rooting because that might actually make our case better. But in many cases, you're competitive, right? You might be just like, fuck, like another thing I need to think about. Maybe I need to change all my plans. Like, how do you deal with that? I mean, both of you, because I know also you, Meow, like there is a lot of stress, right? You told me sometime, man, I'm so stressed out. And then you have like this fucking new competitor, like doing this new thing. You're like, oh man, another thing I didn't need to think about.
I go first.
You want? Yeah, go.
Oh, you go for it. I mean,
no, I think from my perspective, like Frank is the only person I look at that I don't look at as competition. I look at it, that's the only that's him and Julian would be like the only two where I'm like, Julian from Doodles.
Okay.
Those are the only two. And I like all the other guys, don't get me wrong, but like there's just something specifically with Frank, like Frank played a huge role in our success because when no one gave a shit about me, he kind of put me on the map to like a new audience. So I want to see him win in a way that I think is like very unique. And I also like, they didn't take a ton of money. Like I think they did everything the right way. But I think in general, we need to push the envelope. And in a space like NFTs, it's like, this space is a little bit different. Like everyone's swapping, right? Everyone's going. So he's just like, yo, we gotta, in our space, it's like, man, somebody give us something to reach at so that we can bring it back. Cause like we're in like kind of in a dismal spot. I think the worst of it is through, but I think we're a little bit in a space where it's like the tide needs to be lifted. He's in a ultra competitive, like, yo, you do something. I would love to hear your opinion actually. Like, how do you feel about competition and people doing new features? Probably go nuts.
It's so, dude, you are about to enter a very, 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 very
I'm looking forward to
competitive space.
I'm looking forward to it.
I actually want to talk to you about that real quick. Actually,
I would love to talk about it.
I want to talk about this actually. Because we talked a lot about what you're doing right now. We haven't talked about what you're doing next, which is what I'm really interested in, right? But my view is simple. I think over the years and stuff, I've developed a very, very, very schizophrenic way to handle competition, right? Schizophrenic. The schizophrenia comes in two ways. The first one is that I go crazy. Paranoid. I go that I'm going to die, I'm going to fail, everything's going to go to shit, nothing's going to work. And then I go to this like crazy schizophrenia phase for like a couple of weeks and stuff, right? And then like, and it's a powerful thing to have, right? Schizophrenia and paranoia is really powerful, right? Because just go fuck, and then just buck out everything, right? Just like really, you rally the troops, you do a cost, you do an analysis, you think about it, you cover a weak spot, you go into retreat mode. You know what I'm saying? That you can go to two modes, right? You can go to Icarus mode. Icarus are good because you go towards the sun, right? There are two modes that are powerful in crypto. Retreat mode, redwood tree mode, and Icarus mode, right? Crypto moves too fast for you to always be redwood. You gotta go crazy sometimes, right? But go crazy, you can't go to the sun too much, right? Secondly, is that if something comes to a space and they're genuinely doing something interesting, right? You learn from them, right? So I think, and later on you realize that, okay, if someone that come in and then the final stage is acceptance, right? You go like, hey, all right, so you go from paranoia you go from acceptance you go paranoia to acceptance to happiness, right? You go, oh cool, all right, I learned something new. You should go for the space, right? Then you just, and then you know what? It always works out, right? You just learn from them and then you coexist, right? Either they are really shit and they die, or they're really good and you learn something and coexist, right? And then the loop happens again, right? And that happens every month, you know? So I just go into this like crazy
into a few weeks of paranoia every month.
So
3 days of clear your mind.
1 week, no, literally like paranoia, acceptance, happiness, like okay, like blissfulness, I guess, like okay, accept, and then like go into like then just nothing for 1 month, it won't go with it. It's crazy. Yeah,
that's nice. You said IP was always the Trojan horse crypto needed. Why has IP always been the Trojan horse?
Because crypto needs an angle to it, and it needs a significant piece of this pie where people are not coming to make or to speculate on things. Like right now, we've got the speculation thing completely figured out. Totally, like that's such a huge use case.
Recently, just crazy.
Yeah,
last few months, it's crazy.
You know, we got people like him building the coolest, best ways to kind of trade and go inside different ecosystems. But there's another section of crypto where it's about digital ownership and participation and brand, and I think like that part has just been completely deficient. And I think when you think about bringing people into crypto that's not predicated on price going up or price going down, I think IP is the best way to do it. I mean, think about what digital collectibles did for Ethereum and NFTs did for Ethereum at that moment in time. You know, obviously that was like predicated on price going up and price going down, but I think there's a huge opportunity and a bunch of unlock that I think happens when you look at like what the future of brand looks like and because tokenization is really alignment. Right? It's participation and adds some sort of aligned incentive that I think gets people to participate. And I think when you think about what does it mean to adopt IP and what does it mean to grow IP, one, it's super scalable. It's, you know, there's a real playbook to doing it. And two, I think it gets people into crypto in a way that is not based on like, oh, hey, let's go buy this, let's go sell this, but like, let me go participate, right?
It's good to say that because you know how we, at the very early part of the conversation, we talk about our community, right?
Yep.
We do two things as well, right? I think it's really interesting to say that because on one hand, you have this like values-driven view to crypto, right? On the other hand, you also have this like very pragmatic, you know, view of crypto as like you're gonna make good money, right? So I feel I think for us it's very similar too, right? I think we have this thing of okay, we have to build the best product, you know, that allow people to trade and do well, and also the programs do well and stuff, right? I think things like that, right? So we do a lot in terms of the token and stuff, giving them assurance and alignment and everything, right? But on the other hand, I think there's also this values part of it, right? We really want to build a community that is like hyper friendly to each other. That's like really driven towards like making decentralized the world more decentralized trading place, right? Towards like, I feel like maybe I'm being naive, right? But I think like if you have both sides of the story, right? If you can appeal to both the very pragmatic aspect and also the really idealistic aspect, right? You kind of bring them together, right? That could actually be how it works, you know. And that's how we go about things. Yeah,
agreed.